Hey, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at the HP Envy Inspire 7255E and trying to answer the question, are HP printers worthwhile for home photos? Now, before we get too far into the content, no, this video is not sponsored, even though there are going to be some segments that feel like I'm really trying to sell this to you. This is really just my opinion on what I think the HP printers are worth for the value for a budget photographer or a home photographer. If you want to pick this up, check the description box below. I got links to a few different printers because I am going to compare this to the more photo specific printers like the Canon Pixma Pro 200 and the Epson Expression series and things of that sort. So if you want to check those out, those links are also in the description. Those are phenomenal photo printers, so you can definitely do that. Now, I have a few prints here. I have an 8x10 that I printed from a photo shoot of my family and I. And I also have some 5x7s that I printed. Now, all of these were printed off today. So, I'm coming fresh off the top of using this particular device. And I love the way that those prints came out, with the exception of one. And that's because I think I'm running out of ink. There was a discoloration issue down at the bottom. You'll see that in B-roll. And that was not ideal. And I didn't even notice it until my wife said, "Why is it blue?" And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess it is blue. So why that happened, I'm not entirely sure. That was the last photo that I printed today. And that brings me to a good point. With these home printers, when you're making photos for yourself or things like that, you're going to run into issues like that. And that's okay, because the price point of these printers is really low. And I think that your expectation should be low as well. There's going to be a lot of people who try to share or tell you like these print fantastic pictures, and they do. I'm not going to lie. But this is not beating out a professional print lab with CMYK, like color specific and different types of pigment or inks and stuff that they're using to make your photos look great. This is a 2-cartridge ink system printer. There's a black cartridge and then a tricolor cartridge. And the printer does a pretty good job at placing the colors, I think. And all of the prints that I received or that I've made with this particular device, they've come out vibrant, saturated, and sharp. I can't complain about the print quality when it comes to these photos, with the exception of that blue piece, and that was just odd. Now, what I will say is, from time to time, there are these lines that show up in the image. Now, I've only had that happen on one of my photos, and that was because somehow the printer decided to print double-sided. I think I had something in my settings when I sent the photo from on1 to the printer, and that's what caused the issue. But the other thing that I'll mention is you can print multiple images onto one sheet of paper, and then you'll have to cut them out. The challenge with cutting them out is sometimes you won't get those lines entirely straight, and you'll have these wonky little edges. I personally cut into the image just to make sure that I don't have this little wonky border of white paper on the side. But that's something you would have to work out for yourself if that's something you're going to do. You can print borderless images. And all this means is you're printing from edge to edge on the sheet of paper, and the largest print that you're going to be able to make is an 8.5 by 11. But you can print that borderless, so just keep that in mind. And for many of us, 8 by 10 is probably the largest that we're going to care to print. And for the super enthusiasts, maybe an 8.5 by 11 sheet here and there would really work out. But if you want to go any larger than that, you're definitely going to want to look at the more expensive printers like the Canon Pixma Pro series or the Epson Expression series, or just send it to a print lab. Now, there are some cool features like being able to print from your phone and using the app, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't think that that's something most of us as photographers are the most interested in. But I will let you know that you can do it, and the app makes it fairly simple for you to print from your phone. So if maybe your family wants to print to your printer, they can connect to it through the Wi-Fi and then go ahead and make the print. Hey, if you're finding value in today's content, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new here, consider hitting subscribe. My name's Chris. I create content centered around photo editing, usually with On1 Photo Raw, but also other editing applications. If that's something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button and come join me over on freewillphotos.com. Become a free member of the community, and I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to the content. So one of the things that I really appreciate about this printer is that it qualifies for the Instant Ink program. If you're not familiar with the Instant Ink program, here's the 30-second elevator pitch. It is a subscription-based program that allows you to get ink before your printer runs out, and you pay by the sheets of paper that you actually print, and this is all monitored in some sort of cloud-based service. Probably did a terrible job at selling it, but let me tell you, being able to get your actual ink delivered to your house, that is just astronomically amazing. I love that. The printer just works it out, right? As long as you pay your monthly bill, which for me, I'm on the 50 sheet plan, and that's $4 a month. Now, a little bit later, I'll do some math and kind of, blow your mind, go gee whiz on that. But the point that I want to make here is you'll never run out of ink, and you're going to be able to print 50 sheets of paper. That's a big deal, right? 50 images of 8.5 by 11 if you choose to print 50 images of 8.5 by 11. Now, if you want to print 8 by 10s, you can still print 50 of those each month, all included with your ink subscription. And you're going to get all of the ink you need to be able to print those. Now, what I will say about the Instant Ink program, sometimes you may find yourself in a little bit of a pickle where you want to print a large batch of photos, but you just don't have enough ink, or your ink is on the way, so then you have to wait. What I found out is you can actually go and ask for more ink, and they'll send you more ink ahead of your big print jobs. So if you know that you're about to print, 30 sheets of photos, then you may want to ask for more ink, and they're not going to charge you anything more, at least to the best of my knowledge. They don't. Do your research on that. But when I asked for more ink, I got more ink. That's just the way it worked. And I didn't have to say anything special. I just said that I need more ink, and ink showed up at my door. So here's the reason why I enjoy the Instant Ink program. And I'm using the 50 sheet plan as the base for this actual mathematical breakdown. So I get 50 sheets for $5 a month or $4 a month. All right. Now, if I were to take that and I print 50 8.5 by 11 sheets, that would be 10 cents per image. All right, 10 cents per image. If I decided to print 2 5 by 7s per month, that would turn out to be 5 cents per image. And if I printed 4 by 6s 50 times, that would be 2.5 cents per print. So you can see we're talking pennies for the print, and it's all for the capability of being at your own home. Now, contrast that with paying $42 for the black ink cartridge and the tricolor ink cartridge from pick whatever store you go to. This is why the Instant Ink program, in my opinion, is just so great, because I can literally print more pages, because what I forgot to mention is for $42, I can print about 7 to 9 sheets. 7 to 9 sheets. But that doesn't even get me through 1/5 of the amount of pages that I'm supposed to be able to print through the Insta Ink program. So it's almost a still in order to do this. Now, keep in mind that if you print regular papers, right, not just images, but if you print, book reports or assignments or anything like that, directions, that's going to eat into your page count. So if you end up spending all of your pages because, you had to print a report and that was 20 pages, you got 30 images that you can still print. And it's still more than enough, in my opinion, but you would have to do that research for yourself to see if that's worth it. There is the expense of the photo paper, and that's not necessarily cheap because it's like $12.99 for 100 sheets of 4x6. This is the HP branded paper, and it can also go as high as $30.99 for the premium HP brand paper of 8.5 by 11. However, you can use paper from any photo company or any photo paper. I personally use photo paper from Staples, and this is 8.5 by 11 premium paper. I think I paid maybe $20 for a pack of 50. So I got 50 sheets for $20 here instead of paying 50 sheets for $30. And in my opinion, the quality of the paper is good. I enjoy it. My family seems to really enjoy it, and it's really cool. Now, this is the point where you kind of have to make that decision of, do you want a dedicated photo printer or do you want an all-around purpose printer? I personally think for the enthusiasts and the amateur photographers, the hobbyist photographers, an all-around printer makes the most sense because you're going to be able to print more than just photos. And that matters, especially like for my family. Now, however, let's say you wanted to actually print larger photos. You would have to go to one of these more dedicated photo printers like the Canon Pixma Pro series and the Epson Expression series. Those are more expensive overall because you're going to have to pay for the ink and you're going to have to pay for the paper. You're going to have to pay for more for the printer. Like it's just more of an expense. But if you're looking to do this and you're actually selling these prints, like, as fine art or whatever you're doing, hanging them up in galleries, then that is the route that you absolutely should go. So who is this printer for? I would say that this is for the person working on a tight budget, the enthusiast photographer, or someone who just wants to dabble in the ability to print. Now, I will note, if you want to get good prints on this particular printer, you need to increase your exposure by about half a stop to a full stop. And that's going to compensate for the illumination of your computer monitor because the printer doesn't know how bright your monitor is. You only can figure this out by running a few test images through the printer. And if they come out a little bit darker than you expected, then that's a good sign that you probably need to boost your exposure by a half a stop to a full stop. Hopefully that solves your problem. And that brings me to a good point. If you want to learn how to get your photos ready for printing at home, check out the video on screen now. Until the next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.